Hi, and welcome to The Real Deal with Deb. Being born into dysfunctional generational trauma, I know too well the effects it can have in all the different areas of our life. So I decided to create a space to support women of all ages where we can grow together while sharing personal and entrepreneurial lessons learned through authentic connection, love, and laughter. After 30 plus years of building a successful business as a RE/MAX realtor while studying emotional intelligence skills throughout my career and life, I now want to help support other women and empower them to tap into their own emotional intelligence skills. Hey, it's Deb. I appreciate you stopping on by. Did you know that 55 million people worldwide have dementia / Alzheimer's? And then yearly, 10 million people are diagnosed. Like, I was shocked to hear that it was this much. Unfortunately, this is a chronic brain disease that slowly takes so much away physically and mentally. At first, there's confusion, more forgetfulness. To the point where someone can forget to eat. And there's also more anxiety. Now, I share this with you from firsthand experience as my mother-in-law was diagnosed 8 years ago with this disease, and I was nowhere near prepared or ready to face what was yet to come. So I decided to do this episode on dementia because, let's face it, it could be me or you that eventually gets this terrible disease. And in the meantime, how do we cope with loved ones that get it? I recommend that, if you get the diagnosis with a loved one, right away reach out to the Alzheimer's Society in your area and get as much information as possible about this disease because, information, knowledge is power, right? The more we know, the more we can help someone. I didn't realize either that there's 3% of the population that gets dementia before age 65. And when this happens, it shortens your lifespan 10 to 20 years. So really sad. I'm hoping that sooner than later, there is a cure. Now, how do you deal with this? How do you deal as a family member of a loved one that gets this diagnosis? Well, again, you learn as much as you can, number one. Number two, make sure that you get support yourself because you're going to need it. This disease slowly robs the relationship that you've had with your loved one. And, it's almost like losing someone before they actually die. And I know that, sounds a little bit strange perhaps, but any of you that have gone through a loved one with dementia, Alzheimer's, it really does. It robs you of that person because they're not able to eventually talk because, the brain isn't communicating well enough for them to speak any longer, hardly. They don't recognize you anymore. They completely, lose memory on who you are and who people, other people are. And, let's face it, there's no greater pain than having someone that you've had a relationship, a loving relationship with, that no longer recognizes you, that there's some stages that, depending on the person, right, our bodies are all different, that they can even lash out with verbal violence triggers, it can really, the disease can really agitate some people. Now, as far as, support goes, get support for yourself because you're grieving or you will be grieving a loss of a relationship that once was. And again, as sad and upsetting as it is, you also need, to get tools, to learn skills to help you while you go through this. Because once you're diagnosed, uh, you could live for another anywhere between 2 years and 20 years. It just depends on the body, right? Everybody's body is different. And in the meantime, I think that, what I have found that really helps me, and I hope it helps her, is that when I do visit, and visiting is important, listen, they're human beings, right? I mean, they may not know us anymore, they may not be able to communicate with us anymore, but what I do is when I go visit my mother-in-law, I show her, funny, cute pictures that I've taken. I read to her. She loves chocolate, always has, so I bring some chocolate and she indulges in that. And I think that human touch, rubbing their arm, their shoulder, holding their hand, letting them know that you're there and that you love them. Love is a powerful emotion. And no matter what disease I think anybody gets, nothing can take love away. So, they do feel your love, and I think it is appreciated, right? I can only imagine how isolated this disease would make you feel. So, on that note, I'm gonna say thanks again. As always, I'm keeping it real, and I appreciate you. Have a good one. Thanks again for taking some time out of your day to spend it with me. If there's a topic you'd like me to discuss, please reach out at therealdealwithdeb@gmail.com. If you've enjoyed this episode, I'd really appreciate it if you left me a review. And as always, keeping it real. Until next time.